Your Honor, can you hear me?
I call the meeting to order.
And the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank Logan Wells for being village president for a day. We've had a good time. Great job, Logan. Just getting this certificate. Here you go, buddy. All right. Thank you. Thanks for your service. All right.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was telling you guys.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Logan. Thanks.
Good job, Logan.
Have any visitors? Two public comments on the
I'm sorry, if you can hear me, this is Denise Plummer with Pogemeyer Design Group. I don't know if I'm considered a visitor or not, but I'm on here for the Blissfield wastewater treatment plant resolutions.
Okay, thanks, Denise. Yep.
Welcome.
So we had Leanne Gillen.
Yes, sir.
You want to address council?
Yes, please.
So you can state your name and your address.
Good evening. My name is Leanne Gillum, and until a house fire on the 29th of November 19, I resided at 314 Pearl Street. I'm here to address you guys today because I got quite a surprise from my neighbor who sent me a copy of a water bill. I'm glad you guys are sitting down. $6,000. The last payment on our bill, it was supposed to have been shut off first. We paid it in March of 2020. At that point, I was assured, it'd be off, but we have since been receiving this correspondence. We don't know why the house is boarded up. I mean, we've had nothing going on at the property, so help, please.
Denise, who did you talk to have the water shut off?
I'm not sure who my husband spoke with initially. I typically see Mr. Brandon when I come in to make payments and stuff, and he was just as confused as I was. We spoke, and he suggested I come talk to you because he didn't have the ability to really, help me figure that out. But he was as shocked as I say. He kept seeing high usage, and he knew the place was boarded up. There's no way.
Does Darwin have anything to say about that?
If you want to talk, you might answer.
No. Hey, Darwin, do you know anything about this water?
Your Honor, Brandon spoke with me briefly about this matter, but I would be happy for both him and I to provide a report to council on this.
Okay. That's all we can do for right now. Brandon and our interim administrator, they'll look into it, they'll figure it out.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Howard Butler. Like to address council.
I'm already on the.
You're already on the agenda. Okay. We'll do the approval of minutes. Oh, wait a minute, we got these public comments on that were given to us ahead of time. First one's from Emily Mullins. Why is pool membership more for a large family? I have 5 children, so for our family of 7 to get an annual pass, we've been charged an extra $60. If it is a goal to limit the family membership to one family and not cousins, grandparents, etc., add language that defines family as living in the same household. Emily Mullins, Blissfield. And then we have another one.
Is Heather? Is she on?
Does she want to address that one?
Hi, I'm on the meeting. I'm in Zoom. So the family membership pass, the way that it was previously set up, I continued that. So at the Gail Giles pool, we did charge over a family of 5. We had an additional fee per person. Also, it obviously the more people we have at the pool, the more staffing we need, the more chemicals the pool uses. There's more expenses. So.
Thank you, Heather.
Heather, is that something, how do you determine what is a family of 5? Are we determining it in the same household, or as she pointed out, not cousins, grandparents, that sort of thing?
I believe it is stated as a family of 5. It should be in the same household.
Thank you.
Is that in line with other memberships like an LCS or YMCA, where a family pass covers X amount of people in the household?
I can definitely check into that and let you know for sure. Off the top of my head, I'm not 100% positive.
Okay, thank you.
And there's another one, Heather, that you can address. The second one is, please consider lengthening the pool hours, closing at 7 p.m. Does not give families who work until 5 time to come home, eat dinner, change clothes, travel to the pool with enough time to enjoy it. Perhaps lengthen the time until 9, perhaps 9 to 9, or even a few nights a week. Thank you for considering this, Diane Warner.
So that time was set in place. We do not have lights at the pool. So the lifeguards do have closing duties that they have to do at the end of the evening to get the pool ready for the following day. We are also doing some extra programming this summer that would take place those few hours from 7 to 9 or 9:30.
Okay, thanks, Heather.
No problem.
Go to the approval of minutes of last meeting. Darwin, do we have to do these separately?
Your Honor, you could approve them all at one time in one motion if you wish to do so.
Okay, I wish to do so. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, on the committee, the whole meeting for June 2nd, it has me present and I was not here.
June 2nd.
Correct that.
I'll make a motion then to accept the minutes, approve the minutes for the special council meeting of May 17th, the council minutes for May 20th, the council minutes for May 24th, and the committee of the whole minutes for June 1st, the committee of the whole for June 2nd with the correction, and the council minutes for June 6th.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes of all those meetings listed. Are there any other corrections or questions? If not, you can call the roll, Lisa.
James,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Barb, yes, Bob,
Yes. And it's approved. I will be setting a public hearing for truth and taxation public hearing and adoption of 2021 property tax millage rates.
Your Honor, council is being requested to conduct a public hearing on the proposed 2021 general operating and debt millage rates. The general operating millage rate would be 14.1588 mils. That's for general operating and municipal streets. 1.9912 mils for the pool bond debt service and 0.3981 mil for the bridge bond debt service. As was noted for council, we had a slight Headley rollback for the general operating millage. So this year's millage rates will result in a slight reduction of the tax rate, a reduction of 0.0101 mil. It is recommended that council conduct the public hearing, receive any public comments, and then consider adopting the millage rates as presented.
All right, thank you. At this time, I will open up the public hearing for any questions or comments. Hearing none, we'll close that public hearing and need a recommended motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt and set the Village of Blissfield 2021 property tax millage rates as follows: 14.1588 mils for general operating and municipal streets, 1.9912 mils for pool bond debt service, and 0.3981 mils for bridge bond debt service.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded to adopt and set the Village of Blissfield 2021 property tax millage rates as follows:
14.1588 mills for general operating and municipal streets, 1.9912 mills for pool bond debt service, and 0.3981 mil for bridge on debt service. Any questions? If not, you can call the roll, Lisa.
Barb? Yes. Jerry?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes. Motion carried. Discussion action items. Number one, resignation of police officer Tyler Rayburn.
Your Honor, counsel is being requested to accept with regrets the resignation of police officer Tyler Rayburn. And at this time, Your Honor, if you don't mind, I would like to turn this item over to Chief Greenleaf for additional comments.
Officer Rayburn is here this evening with us, and despite my best efforts, I have been unable to change his mind. He is a tremendous loss to the department, the village, and the residents. He has been, without doubt, one of the most exemplary police officers I've ever had the pleasure to work with. So his absence will be felt for a long time. Even when I get another body to put in that position, he certainly won't replace him. So couldn't talk him out of it, but he's here. Even though he's not going to be a police officer anymore, he's still committed to the town, the village, and has our best interests at his heart. We've had a lot of long talks since he told me he was quitting. And, so I had my best negotiating efforts. I couldn't convince him otherwise. So.
Thank you for your letter, Tyler. Yep, appreciated that. So, anybody, and I just want to thank you for your service to the village. It's much appreciated.
I as well. I thank you very much. You'll definitely be missed. I'm sure folks out there seeing you out there will also be missing you. Most of them will be, I'm sure.
Best of luck going forward to you and your family. Thank you.
I hesitate to make the motion, but I'm going to accept with regrets the resignation of police officer Tyler Rayburn and express the Blissfield Village Council's deepest appreciation for Officer Rayburn, his years of dedicated and exemplary service to the residents and businesses of the village of Blissfield and the Blissfield Police Department.
Support.
Moved and supported to accept with regrets the resignation of police officer Tyler Rayburn and express the Blissfield Village Council's deepest appreciation to Officer Rayburn for his years of dedicated, exemplary service to the residents and businesses of the village of Blissfield and the Blissfield Police Department. Any other comments or questions? If not, you can call the roll.
Jerry?
Yes.
Barb? Yes. James?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes. Motion carried.
I think along with that, Bob, did you get the other memo?
Yeah, I did. Yep. So that would be the next action item. Word for Officer Tyler Rayburn. Do you want to talk about that, Darwin?
Your Honor, just to say that Chief Greenleaf is recommending that the Village Council confer the Blissfield Village Council Award upon Police Officer Tyler Rayburn for his years of dedicated and honorable service to the Village of Blissfield and the Blissfield Police Department. And I would, Your Honor, if it's okay, I will turn this item over to Chief Greenleaf for further comment as well.
So the awards policy that the police department has, there is a village council award that council can bestow on any person for any reason as you deem appropriate. I have requested you to consider that award for Officer Rayburn. When you looked at the history of his work record here, the amount of training and instruction he provided, as well as the numerous awards. He had 3 life-saving awards, I think 2 meritorious awards. One of them notably was obtaining a confession on a decades-old child molestation case from a convicted felon who was already serving time. And to get a confession to a crime like that from a felon who's already doing time is just absolutely incredible. He was an excellent patrolman, he's an excellent detective. If I had had the ability, he would have been a supervisor a long time ago. I just think based on the, even though he was only here 9 years, the amount of training and experience and service that he provided certainly warranted your consideration.
Anything else? You gotta make that motion.
I will make that motion. Well, I'll recommend that Village Council confer the Blissfield Village Council Award upon Officer Tyler Rayburn for his years of dedicated and honorable service to the Village of Blissfield and the Blissfield Police Department.
I'll support that.
Moved and supported to recommend that the Village Council confer the Blissfield Village Council Award upon Police Officer Tyler Rayburn for his years of dedicated and honorable service to the Village of Blissfield and the Blissfield Police Department. You can call the roll, Lisa.
James,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you.
Very well. Very well, sir. The next action item is the FY 21-22 Village Council goals and objectives.
Your Honor, Council conducted goal-setting work sessions and developed a comprehensive list of goals and objectives at your June 1st and June 2nd work sessions for consideration at tonight's meeting. You've been provided with a copy of those draft goals and objectives, and you are being requested to adopt those at this time.
Barb and I will flip flop. There you go.
Wait a second. I make a motion to adopt the Blissfield Village Council goals and objectives for fiscal year 21-22 as presented.
I support that.
Moved and supported to adopt the Village Council goals and objectives for FY 20-21-22 as presented. Any other questions on that?
No, but I would just like to say I was glad that we came together as a council and set forth our goals for the next 3 to 5, maybe 10 years on some of those. It was much needed, and I think it coming together like that to better the village and the government for the village and the residents, I think was a good thing.
Special note from Mike Gunner's input. Very comprehensive overview of needs from past, current, and future. So he did a lot of homework and had a lot of great ideas for us. So thanks, Mike.
If there aren't any other comments, you can call the roll, Lisa.
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Motion carried. Next action item is the curbside recycling collection services agreement.
Your Honor, members of council, as you are aware, we have a contract with Stevens Disposal and Recycling for curbside recycling collection services. That contract expires on July 31st. I have had a meeting with Stevens to discuss the possibility of extending their contract to determine under what conditions they would be willing to extend their contract. And I provided you with an overview of their proposals. A one-year contract extension, they are requesting a 1.8% increase in the monthly service charge per unit. If we were to go with a 3-year contract extension, it would be a 0% increase in the monthly service charge per unit in the first year and a 2% increase each year of the contract thereafter for the next 2 years. If we went for a 5-year contract extension, it would be 0% increase in monthly service charge per unit in the first year and only a 1% increase each year thereafter. I'm asking council to provide direction to administration. If you are comfortable with those proposals and you're comfortable with extending the contract for a 5-year period, I would recommend that council find that there's no advantage to the village to competitively bid the services and to direct myself and the village attorney to prepare the necessary contract documents and supporting information for a contract extension for consideration by the village council at your June 28th meeting.
Darwin, since I've only been on council a year, how long was this last contract?
This last contract was a year extension.
Do you know what it was prior to that?
I believe it was, I believe it was a 2 or 3 year contract prior to that. And I think it was a 3-year contract, the first contract.
We have a representative from Stevens. Would you like to speak?
Hi, Kevin Shipman, Stevens Disposal. We're obviously happy to extend the agreement under these terms, and obviously the prolonged agreement is our preference. And that's why we're offering no initial increase for the first year on either one of those 3 or the 5-year agreements. Darwin is correct. I believe the initial agreement was a 3-year agreement, and there was another renegotiated 3-year agreement and a 1-year extension on the last one. Again, your current rate is $11 per home, and that's what we're proposing to remain at if you wanted to do another 3-year agreement or a 5-year agreement. Short of that, you're familiar with our services. If you've got questions in regards to that, I'm more than happy to answer them.
I don't have any questions, but I do have a couple comments. I do remember the initial recycling center across the street from the old train depot. It was a mess all the time. I hate to see us revert back to that. I think the curbside is so much nicer. I don't know of any recycling competitors in the area that do curbside. So I would advocate for a 5-year deal at this point. And I do remember this being a question for residents as to what services they wanted implemented or were looking for being provided, and recycling was high on the list at the time. So I would still say recycling is a high priority in most households that subscribe to it. And I only see recycling growing. So again, I advocate for a 5-year plan.
Can I ask a question? How many residents or households in Blissfield currently subscribe?
I think our current count is around 290, somewhere 290, 292, somewhere around there. I guess just for a point of context, just to kind of, so everybody's aware, we're trying to keep any increases at a very minimum. The cost of processing recycling currently, in comparison to taking trash into a landfill, is about $20 a ton on trash and $125 a ton on recycle. So we're doing our best to keep that at a minimum cost too. So.
Do you want to make a motion?
James is going to. Do you want me to make the motion? Since you're.
Yes, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to this is just directing interim village administrator McClary, correct? To
Correct, and the village attorney to.
this is not making a motion
Oh.
to enter into a contract.
Okay.
So do I have to even make a motion for that?
No,
Or are we just giving direction?
Giving them
Are we just giving direction or are we making a motion?
I think we need to make
Your
a
Honor, if I-
motion.
Wait a second. Go ahead, Darwin.
Your Honor, if I could just clarify. So we are requesting that council adopt a motion that would direct the village attorney and I to prepare the necessary contract documents and supporting information. This item, if you adopt that motion, this item would come back to you at your June 28th meeting for final consideration of approval of the contract.
Okay, thank you. So I'll recommend a motion to find that there is no advantage to the village to competitively bid curbside recycling collection services and to direct the village administrator and village attorney to prepare the necessary contract documents and supporting information for a contract extension with Stevens Disposal and Recycling for consideration by the village council at its June 28, 2021 meeting for a 5-year contract extension.
Support.
Moved and supported to, can you call the roll on that? Motion as presented?
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Shipman. Appreciate it. Next action item is a 3-on-3 basketball sheet for street closure.
Your Honor, Eric May is requesting permission to close South Lane Street from Jefferson to US 223 on July 10th for the 3-on-3 basketball tournament from 5 a.m. to approximately 6 p.m. And Your Honor, if it's okay with you, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. May for any additional comments he may have regarding this request.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, we want to do our annual takeaway last year, our annual 3-on-3 basketball tournament, which in the past has ran. We started around 8, 9 o'clock in the morning and it runs approximately 5 to 6 p.m. What we do, we have the removable baskets. We'll move those for the parade at 10:30. Put them back after the parade. We usually resume around noon. It's worked pretty well in the past, but we want to close it down that early. I have to set up all the baskets and make sure all the lines and stuff are painted. So it's been very successful in the past. I'm hoping for another successful year. Had a lot of interest so far. So that's what I'm looking for. Any questions at all?
Nope, glad to hear you back, Eric.
Yeah, I'm glad we got it back. I'll be looking for your team, James.
So I don't have to read.
I'll make a motion that we approve the requested closure of Lane Street from Jefferson Street to US 223 on Saturday, July 10th, 2021, from approximate time of 5 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Support.
Moved and supported on that motion. Can you call the roll as presented, Lisa?
Barb,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Motion carried. Next action item is River Rising Festival request from Boy Scouts to camp in Clara Bachmeyer Park.
Your Honor, council is being requested to approve the request from the Blissfield Boy Scouts Troop 8 to camp in Clara Bachmeyer Park on Friday, July 9th and Saturday, July 10th during the River Raisin Festival for the purpose of performing scout skills demonstrations during the festival. And I believe Mr. Butler is in the audience and can answer any questions you may have of the Boy Scouts regarding this request.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Darwin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Council. My name is Howard Butler. I am the current Scoutmaster of BSA Troop 8 here in town. I come to you tonight on behalf of Troop 8 and our Cub Pack 708. I'd like to start out with a little bit of background on the situation at hand. Since its charter in 1912, Troop 8 and the Scouting program has been a Blissfield tradition for over 100 years, providing our young people opportunities for personal growth and character development. Over recent years, our numbers have maintained steady as the Cub Scout pack has crossed over boys into the pack. However, that is no longer the case. As everyone is well aware, the pandemic has taken its toll on many of our lives and activities. Scouting has been no exception to this. Our Cub pack has been quite literally decimated by the pandemic's effects. It has resulted in their numbers dwindling almost to the point of no longer being able to continue. The troop started discussions several months ago of what we could do to help bolster the pack, as well as increase numbers in the troop. Because quite frankly, if the pack dies, it's very likely that within 3 to 4 years, the troop will be non-existent. After much discussion and brainstorming, we came up with the idea to set up a demonstration campsite during the River Raisin Festival. After discussions with Festival President, Mr. Rick Allen, myself, and the troop committee, it was agreed that a campsite set up along the river would provide both visibility and recruitment opportunities for scouting. We will have scout skills demonstrations and hands-on activities that we, the scouts and scouters, can work with the youth and families of the community, showcasing the values and benefits of scouting. We are incorporating other local organizations into our scout demonstrations by opening time up for the Girl Scout troop and as well for Blissfield Martial Arts Academy. This brings me to the point of my appearance before you tonight. The troop will be putting a fair amount of equipment on display, and we'd like to have a small contingent of adult leaders and older scouts camp with the equipment Thursday and Friday night. We are looking at 2 adults and 2 scouts each night. Would you please give us your consent to camp overnight in the park? Thank you.
So we're looking at Thursday night and Friday night?
Yes.
Okay.
And we would tear down Saturday along with the other matters.
Do you have any issues now with that?
Oh, I've already penciled it in. Officer Corey will be working both nights, and I think he'll have a lot of fun.
All right.
You'll be seeing him. He really likes working with kids. So
Cool.
yeah, we'll hook up afterwards.
All right, excellent. Thanks.
All right, so we got a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the request from the Blissfield Boy Scouts Troop 8 to camp in Clara Bachmeyer Park on Friday night, July 19th, 2021, and Saturday night, July 10th, 2021.
Yes.
You just said Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday. We were originally looking at Friday and Saturday, and we decided it would be better to go with Thursday and Friday.
All right, I will change that in Clara Bachmeyer Park on Thursday night, July 8th, 2021, and Friday night, July 9th, 2021, during the River Raisin Festival for the purpose of performing scout skills demonstrations during the festival.
I'll support that.
Moved and supported to approve the request for the Blissfield Boy Scouts Troop 8 to camp in Clara Bachmeyer Park on Thursday, July 8th, and Friday, July 9th, 2021, during the River Raising Festival for the purpose of performing scout skills demonstrations during the festival. Any other questions or comments?
Sounds like a great idea. Have fun.
Hope to. If there are any other comments or questions, you can call the roll, Lisa.
Jerry,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, motion carried.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Next action item is the agreement to transfer administration safety city program from village to Blissfield schools.
Your Honor, council is being requested to approve the agreement transferring administration of the Safety City program from the village to the Blissfield School District and to authorize the village president to execute the agreement on behalf of the village. And Your Honor, with your permission at this time, I would like to turn this item over to Chief Greenlee for additional information.
Yeah, this occurred, we didn't have Safety City last year, and between last year and this year, I lost about half my teachers' resignations. Because we're working on school property, any employees that we employ to work there have to have a full background check, fingerprinting, criminal history, the whole 9 yards. We employ teachers to work at the school. So it only makes sense that we allow the school to do it because they're already employees at the school. So then if we skip that whole step, and the school could easily pick teachers that are suitable to work the program. So it's just really a matter of efficiency. I spoke with Ms. Mueller a number of times on this, and if council's willing, we'd still like to be involved as far as helping them raise funds for the program, but they would take over the administrative function, particularly with the employee costs.
And the village would still be responsible for the equipment, correct?
At this point, and we can discuss that going forward, but right now in my budget, we have 2 line items. We have one for Safety City wages and one for equipment. So as the budget comes up, I'm recommending that we continue with the line item for equipment, which I think is like $200 or $300 for the year. That should maintain the equipment that we have and keep it going, which consists of the Power Wheels Jeeps and the playhouses and the tricycles. We've had, since I've been here 7 years, had to replace two of the playhouses, and those were maybe a couple $100 a piece. The batteries, those Power Wheels, when they go out, they only last about 5 years, but those things are $80 or $90 a piece. So the $300 a year should keep us going pretty good. We also provide those helmets, the bicycle helmets to the kids. And we buy those in bulk every couple of years. Those prices are steadily going up, but we managed so far to be able to provide those with the funding that we have. So we'll stay involved in it. It's just this is just a streamlining project here to kind of make it a little more efficient as far as the personnel goes.
It sounds like a win-win for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great partnership between the school district and the village. So.
Ms. Mueller and I have also agreed that if there are any issues pop up, we're going to work it out. If I need to come back to council for anything, we will. But it's understood there was no way we're trying to put one over on or anything like that. It's purely a simplification process.
I'll recommend a motion to approve the agreement transferring administration of Safety City program from the village of Blissfield to Blissfield School District and authorize the village president to execute the agreement on behalf of the village.
Support.
Moved and supported to approve the agreement transferring administration of Safety City program from the village of Blissfield to the Blissfield School District. Authorize village president to execute the agreement on behalf of the village. If there aren't any other questions, you can call the roll, Lisa.
James,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Next action item is wastewater treatment improvement project. Contract application payment number 3. And then there's let's just take care of that one first.
Your Honor, administration is requesting that Village Council approve the contractor pay request number 3 for the wastewater treatment plant improvement project. The village's engineers have approved the contractor's pay request as presented and recommend payment. You've been provided with a copy of the pay request. Once the payment to the contractor is approved, as we've done with the previous 2 requests for payment, the request will be forwarded to the USDA Rural Development Agency for review and approval and release of funds. Our engineer, Denise Plummer, is in attendance tonight to answer any questions you may have regarding the pay request.
Does anybody have a question?
I have a question. It's not necessarily concerning the pay request. Just Denise, on the overall budget, this is Jerry Hayes, by the way. On the overall budget, are we staying on track for the most part?
Yes, we are. So far, I mean, this is still obviously early, and I know last meeting, you guys are approved 3 change orders, and we have another one coming. When we did the USDA loan, there is a contingency amount. And so that's coming out of that. That was already in your loan when you closed on it. So right, so far there's no concern, as far as I know, nothing that we see coming up that's going to be, you know, a huge ticket item that would affect any of that.
Thank you.
And this is Bob Valdez. Overall, how's the project going? Could you say anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's going, oh, sorry, that's my dog. It's going pretty slow, at no fault of the contractor. I mean, they're out there, they're working every day. We have weekly meetings that Darwin is a part of. We have weekly conference calls to go over the schedule. Their schedule is still holding to the original schedule they gave us. Just things are moving around, you know, within the schedule. We are documenting though some supply issues. So far, it has not slowed them down because there's been enough work that they can do something else while they wait. But we are documenting it just so, you know, if it is brought up later, you know, just like piping, they're not told specific day, they're not told how much they're going to get of their shipment and that kind of thing. But they're staying on top of it, and they let us know weekly, you know, if anything has slipped or anything has changed.
Have you or anyone from your firm been down to check on the project?
Yeah, Ken McGowan is our inspector, our resident project representative, that he's out there every day. And I think Steve Wonderly has been on site to do site visits. I've just been remotely doing the meetings, but Ken McGowan sends us daily reports and photographs, and we're on emails and everything. We have everything every day, but he's out there every day that the contractor's out there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I recommend the motion.
I will make a motion in connection with the Village of Blissfield wastewater treatment plant upgrade project. Contractor application for payment number 3 from LaSalle Group Incorporated, dated May 25th, 2021, on contract number 123-700-00011 for construction services in the gross amount of $305,426.85, with a net payment amount due after retainage of $290,155.51, and to authorize the village administrator to execute all necessary documents relating to this payment and to submit the same to USDA Rural Development Agency.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded on that motion. Can you call the roll as presented on the motion, Lisa?
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, motion carried. The next one is the wastewater treatment improvement project change order number 4.
Your Honor, council is being requested to to approve change order number 4 to the wastewater treatment plant improvement project based on project bulletin number 5. And change order number 4 would involve the replacement of the gray painted masonry block on the headworks building with the colored sealed block, and to deduct the cost of painting the masonry block for a net increase in price of $7,693.50. Council should have received this revised memo earlier. Originally, the price was a little bit higher, but the contractor amended the credit amount. So we're looking at $7,693.50 as the net increase in price. And Denise is available to answer any questions you may have regarding this item.
Darwin, what was that net increase difference again, please?
The net increase is $7,693.50.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you guys have any questions for Denise?
Denise, this is the block that we approved, I don't know, probably back in April.
Yes, that's correct. Originally, yeah, that is correct. Originally, the design was to paint it to match the existing control building. However, then it was decided that it would be, the village decided that they suggested that Steve and Randy asked if it would be better to have the colored block and just seal it, because it would obviously stand up better than paint. And that is accurate. So that's what this change was for. And we made, had to get the credit for painting the block, but the light buff color block that was selected, any colored block, is a little bit more expensive than just the plain gray. So that's why there is a slight increase really for that change.
But it's not something we'll have to paint in years to come.
Exactly, that is correct.
Thank you.
Anybody want to make that one?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the wastewater treatment plant improvement project change order number 4 to replace the gray painted masonry block on the headworks building with colored sealed block to match the existing wastewater treatment plant control building, and to deduct the cost of painting the masonry block for a net increase of $7,693.50, and authorize the village administrator to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the village related to this change order.
Support. Moved and supported on that motion. Can you call the roll on the motion as presented, Lisa?
Barb? Yes. James?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes, motion carried. Thanks, Denise.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next action item is water supply and sewage disposal ordinance.
Your Honor, council is being requested to adopt the amendment to the water supply and sewage disposal ordinance to remove and replace section 150.0107 of the Village of Blissfield Code of Ordinances to eliminate the exemption for tenants of Coach Light Estates from the requirement of water and sewer account deposits, and to incorporate reference to the Michigan Municipal Water Liens Act, Act 178 of 1939. As council will recall, the reason for this ordinance amendment is that Coach Light Estates wishes to transfer responsibility for the payment of water and sewer utility bills from the property owner to their tenants. And the current ordinance provisions indicate that the village cannot require the tenants of Coach Light Estates to pay a deposit. I don't know what the history of that provision is, why it was included in the ordinance. I'm sure there was a good reason for it at the time. But since the property owners want to transfer responsibility, it is necessary for us to make this ordinance amendment to allow us to charge a deposit upfront as security for any delinquent water or sewer charges. So we recommend that the council adopt this amendment.
Would this take effect now, or, I mean, how do you work that with people who are already living in Coachland Estates?
It would take effect upon publication, I believe. And it would affect all of the current tenants in Coachlight Estates. What would happen is Mr. Rupp intends to, from what I understand, he intends to pay the deposits for the existing tenants so that responsibility can be transferred. So he is working cooperatively with the village, and I believe he's working cooperatively with his tenants to make this transfer.
Okay, thanks, Darwin.
Darwin, how soon would, if we're gonna amend an ordinance, how soon does that go into effect? Do we have to wait a certain amount of time?
The ordinance, I believe, takes effect after publication.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll recommend a motion to adopt the amendment to the water supply and sewage disposal ordinance to remove and replace section 150.101.7, right? Stuck Roman numerals in there. The Village of Blissfield Code of Ordinances to eliminate the exemption for tenants of Coachlight Estates from the requirement of water and sewer account deposits, and to incorporate reference to the Michigan Municipal Water Liens Act of 178 of 1939.
I support.
Moved and supported on that motion. Can you call the roll on the motion as presented?
James,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Motion carried. Next action item is the Blissfield Bluegrass on River Festival 2021.
Your Honor, council is being requested to approve the request from the Southeast Michigan Bluegrass Music Association to hold its 10th annual Blissfield Bluegrass on the River Festival on Saturday, August 14th, with entertainment to be held on the day of the event from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and with setup in the park permitted on Friday evening, August 13th. With certain conditions, and those are outlined in the recommended motion.
Good evening. My name is Bill Warren. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, council. This is our, I believe, our 4th year of managing the festival for the village. The Downtown Development Authority used to do it, and apparently that's outside of their jurisdiction at the park now. So we have stepped in. We've really enjoyed this 4 years and are looking forward to getting back to it. We had to cancel last year. A couple of years ago, we had a meeting with Chief Greenleaf. He gave us suggestions of how to handle our crowd control and parking, and
You guys had no issues.
we had no issues. He said he kept an eye on us and knew that if anything came up, he'd be right there to help us. And we would like to continue. We do have our insurance policy. I think all of you have a copy of it. If not, I brought a copy with me. that covers both the association and the village for any problems that may arise.
This is one of the best festivals going.
I love that.
I'm talking
I've
about.
had the opportunity to work faster horses. We'll take this.
Yeah.
We're a little quieter.
All right, then there's quite a long recommended motion.
I will make a motion that we approve the request from the Southeast Michigan Bluegrass Music Association to hold its 10th annual Blissfield Bluegrass on the River Festival on Saturday, August 14th, 2021, with entertainment to be held on the day of the event from 11 to 8 p.m. and was set up in the park permitted on Friday evening, August 13th, 2021, with the following conditions. And there's a list of 5.
Support.
Moved and supported on that motion. We call the motion as presented, call the roll.
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, motion carried. Have a good time.
Thank you. Could I see the list of 5 conditions by any chance? Just to make sure that I haven't missed anything?
She's gonna make a copy.
you
Okay,
can have that.
Oh, you can have it.
thank you very much.
Yep,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Next item is the aquatic center punch list items, architect recommendation on final payment closeout project.
Your Honor, the village's architect for the Blissfield Aquatic Center construction project, Dave Koppelman of Architects Forum Midwest LLC, is scheduled to address council on the outstanding punch list items for the construction project and to present his recommendations on closing out the project. I provided you with a number of documents related to these issues. And I am not sure if Mr. Koppelman is in attendance at the meeting tonight or not.
Yes, Darwin.
Okay, so Mr. Koppelman did make a recommendation on final payment to MIG Construction. And so at this time, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Koppelman to present to council his recommendations on closing out this project.
Good evening. Also, Brian Denning is here from MIG Construction, in case you guys have any questions as we go through this. Where we're at, as far as the status goes, as you're aware, there are 2 separate prime contractors. One is MIG Construction. They are responsible for the pool, construction of the pool, as well as the equipment, related pool equipment. And then Midwest Contracting, responsible for everything else, the buildings, the site work, the concrete, mechanical, building, and related utilities. I'd like to start with MIG Construction. As another point too, just to let everyone know, we have a full approval from the building inspection department, the trades, the contractors, subcontractors, the trades, as well as MDQ and the health department have full approval. There's no issues there at all. I'm going to start with MIG Construction. I received the pay application 13, which is their final request for closeout and retainage and all the dollars. And it was in error. It was for $113,000, and I had emailed Kevin to let him know there were 4 issues that needed to be taken care of. There was a broken piece of concrete at one of the ladders. There was some rust that was bleeding through one of the pool walls on the concrete, and then there was the responsibility for half of the tie-in for the check valve, the backflow preventer. which that was a cost of $1,725. They agreed to pay half of that. And the other issue was the caulking. There was, it was $1,250, I believe, to caulk the pool, where the coping abuts the concrete as well as the splash pad. Brian had emailed me back and said that he had accepted the terms. And I asked to receive a payment application from him. I just received that today and I reviewed it, and it incorporates all the issues that was discussed. So I'm recommending, I have copies here that I've signed, and I'm recommending final payment, including the retainage for mid-construction. Does anyone have any questions for Mick or myself?
So Meg is not responsible for the roof? Is that what you're saying on the?
No, they're just pool construction and related pool equipment. And we have a punch list. They have gone through and taken care of all the punch list items. Now, what I did was the broken pieces of concrete, they didn't really want to come down and fix that. That's my assumption. So I offered a $1,200 credit, and they have accepted that too, as well as taking care of the roof. So everything that I believe has been taken care of, and I'm recommending final payment of $25,614.43.
So has the rust been addressed and the concrete, has that been addressed?
No, they're out of it now. If we can use that money to have, now, I was at the pool today and I believe that it was fixed. I did the rust. Yeah, the ladder has not been fixed, but there's a credit of $1,200, which the village can use to contact the local contractor, and I'm sure there's enough money in there to fix that.
Okay.
It's not economical for them to send someone down from Detroit to fix it, so they've opted to close it out and
I agree with that, but I'm not an expert in concrete, so I'd like to have a bid before I approve a $1,200 credit.
okay.
I learned today that the lanes don't line up. Is that correct?
I'm not aware of that.
No? Have you been out to inspect it recently? The hooks and lanes don't line up for swimming lanes?
I'm not aware of that. That's the first that I've heard of that.
Yeah, I learned that today as well. It's the first day of our Blissfield Barracuda swim team being in the pool. And I was told that the hooks and the painted lines or whatever it is that was used.
The hooks for the dividing ropes?
Correct.
Okay.
Don't line up appropriately. And so I think at this time, there's still a need to go through and have with a fine tooth comb and inspect the property and make sure the pool is up to the $2+ million we spent on the facility. At this time, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to see us make this final payment and no longer have any tools to negotiate with.
Well, there is the 1-year warranty also. Anything that's the standard warranty on all the equipment and anything that is defective.
When does that start? When we took possession last summer?
When the health department, I don't know when that date was. It was last year, yes, last fall, I believe. It's late summer.
July when we opened it.
I'd have to check on the date on that, but it was around midsummer.
Okay. July 25th. I think you're right. It was coordinated mid to end of July.
Yeah, it was open for a brief time.
But I will say that MIG has been cooperative and I don't foresee any issues there at all.
Okay.
We can obtain a price just for I'll check into the lane situation too, but I will also obtain a price just so the village is covered on that cost.
Right.
I'm sure they will be. It's only they only have to pour a section of concrete to put the ladder sleeves in.
Okay.
So it's really a relatively minor issue.
Okay.
Do you have anything, Darwin?
I don't have anything else, Your Honor, except I would like to ask if if DPW Supervisor Castle has any comments or insights as far as the pool itself and if we still have any problems.
Itself. The only thing we have is still just the ladder. The ladder, I do not know nothing about the length of it. They just put them in though too, did they? First time, yes, I wouldn't know nothing about that. Equipment has been up and running, so the equipment's been okay.
Is the ladder usable?
It's loose.
It's usable, it's being used.
Basically what happens is the sleeves are too close to and it broke back into the relief, the relief.
There's a control joint, and they tightened the sleeve down and it broke off that corner of concrete at the control joint.
B&B fixed the spot when they washed the pool this last.
So any other questions that relate to me?
Nobody else?
No, I'd just like to make sure those problems are taken care of before I'm with James, before we make that final payment. That kind of takes our leverage away. I just want to make sure everything's up and up.
And if the 1-year warranty is July the 25th, then that's about a month and a half.
Correct.
So what do you guys propose?
Heather, are you still on?
Probably.
No, I think the pool needs to be inspected. Brent, you're quite familiar with the project. Heather, you're getting familiar with the facility. I'd be more than happy to approve this as long as we get an absolute punch list and an absolute plan, action plan to address these issues. At that point, I think there's no need for a negotiation. We're wrapping up the project. But until then, we have zero leverage. Unless if we release this.
Like I said, I'll verify the price with a contractor, just to make sure that there's enough money in there to fix the piece of concrete, broken piece of concrete. And then I'll check into the lanes, because that's the first that I heard.
Okay.
The ropes in the center of the lanes.
Darwin, when's our next scheduled meeting?
June 28th.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, yes, 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd like to delay it 2 weeks.
Dave, can you have the estimate on the cement by then?
Pardon?
Is 2 weeks enough to get that dollar amount?
Is 2 weeks an agreeable timeframe with me?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We're happy to make sure that this is satisfactory to you. And I'm a former college swimmer, so I want the lanes straight. So we'll make sure B&B makes that right if that's not correct.
Okay.
We appreciate that a lot.
Is B&B pool are they involved as far as the maintenance of the pool?
They opened it.
They opened it? Okay.
They closed it and they opened it. Yeah, that was I think that was just recently, right?
Yes,
Came down and made sure, and I made those other adjustments that were in your letter, I think, so. Yeah.
I think I'll verify, we'll check into the lanes, and then I'll verify the concrete, and then we should be all set as far as make goes.
I appreciate that.
And Darwin, did you get that, Darwin?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said Midwest now?
Now Midwest.
We have retainage of, still retainage of 30. Retainage of $36,967.28. There are four outstanding issues.
along with a credit. There's a credit of $1,250, which the village has accepted, and that's for, there was some site work, some grading that they didn't do on the south end of the site. It didn't affect the parking lot, and it made it easier for Brent to cut the grass also. So they gave us a credit of $1,250 to deduct from the retainage. There are shared cost issues with the caulking around the pool deck. MIG has agreed to pay half of that. Midwest is not agreeing to pay that. My specifications call out for it's ASTM C1135, I believe, and basically it states that all concrete non-traffic deck joints to be caulked. And it talks about a 2-part polyurethane caulk. Midwest has opted to caulk the splash pad, but not the caulk around the pool itself. The two scenarios are exactly the same. They had to lay out the joint because there were 2 separate pours. So in other words, the circular splash pad, they laid that out with their forms, poured the concrete around the splash pad, then poured the splash pad as a separate pour. They've opted to caulk that joint. They said that they did not feel that they should have to caulk around the pool, and it's the same scenario. They basically laid out the joint on one side of the coping, poured the concrete, then the other section was poured, and then it's the same scenario. So I don't know how they can choose to pay, to caulk a portion of it, but not the pool itself. And like I said, it's in the specifications. It's fairly clear from my perspective. They're not agreeing to that. So it's a cost of $637.50. Item number 2 is the asphalt shingles. My specifications call out for, which is part of their contract, calls out for a platinum preferred contractor, Owens Corning platinum preferred contractor, do the install, as well as a platinum roof warranty. They were not, Midwest had installed the roofs themselves, and they were not, they're not platinum, OC platinum certified. In addition to that, they mentioned that they had sent a warranty to us. The warranty does not name the village of Blissfield in the warranty. It does not name the contractor who did the installation, as well as the date that it was installed. It was just something that they had downloaded from their website. I've got some photographs here that, if I may, kind of show some of the issues here. We have pass it around, but we have random shingles that are actually buckling, and they're raised a good ½ inch or so. They're all over the place too. They're random all over the whole roof. And in addition to waviness, you can see that there's a lot of waviness. And this is the mechanical room also, and you can see how wavy the shingles are. And what the result of that is the ice guard material. They bought a lesser grade, in my opinion, that wasn't tacky enough. And when they laid the roof down, there was thermal expansion contraction, and it actually expanded. So it translates through the roof shingles. And this is the other issue with the metal trim. It shows waviness or oil canning, we call it that. That will be more visible or more apparent in a lighter gauge metal.
Right, you're aware about this stuff.
They used a lighter gauge metal.
This is been going on. This is not new. This has been going on.
That's just a recent picture there.
They're just recent pictures. This has been addressed for quite a while.
And I believe that there's been several times that the contractor has come back to, I believe one time the ridge vent blew off. 3 times, and then has been some patches of actual asphalt shingles blow off that they came out and patched.
And I believe that Todd Rhodes, the building inspector, was out and looked at it, and I haven't seen the letter, but apparently I heard from Joe that he did not approve the roof.
There's been a letter from Todd, that's,
Yeah. So that's the roof issue, and I estimated $18,500 to have that re-roofed. And it might be useful to have a contractor look at it to actually give us a hard quote to replace the roof, so we know what the value is. Prices have changed so much over the last few months that probably, I'm told that even asphalt shingles are hard to get now. So the other thing that would be an option is to have a third party look at the roof, someone that deals with roofs every day. His opinion would weigh heavily if it ever went through the legal process. Okay. That might be an option too. There are contractors and specialists that do that. So that's another option too.
We got with the manufacturer. Is there any way to get with Owens Corning? Well, local or Midwestern rep?
Yeah, I requested that they contact an Owens Corning rep and that I be present. And they apparently had the Owens Corning rep out, but did not contact me. And I've asked to see that report. So as far as I'm concerned, it didn't happen.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I have no intentions of moving forward with this. Midwest has been not a decent partner, to say the least.
The other two issues.
Position, I think this is a dead on arrival right now.
Yeah, we've been, there's quite a bit of documentation and correspondence back and forth since October of 2019, I believe it is, when we did the original punch list. And there were quite a few items on the list, and we whittled away at them. We got them down to like the last 4 items, and they're not willing to really bend on those 4 items. So the other issue is the metal trim, which is one of the pictures there that shows some oil canning or waviness of the metal. My specifications call out for an 18 gauge pre-finished metal. They have a 24 gauge and it's roll stock. And the only way that mine can be done is by hem joints, and you can see they lap the joints over, and it will perform, but the appearance is an issue, and the fact that the village they paid for a 18 gauge metal, they should have it. Right now, at the last meeting, we had the president of the company was there in Coder, and he said that if we really had a problem with the metal trim, that he would replace it. So that's the third item, and then the fourth item is the backflow preventer of $1,725, which again, MIG has offered to pay half of that. Their drawings call out for, first of all, they don't have licensed plumbers. They didn't pull the permit. They don't pull the permit for that thing. Secondly, Midwest has to provide an operational system. That's part of their responsibility to make sure that everything's operational. They have to connect their site utility systems to their pool systems. So that's the other issue. Those are the four main issues with Midwest. And it appears I got a letter from them on the 14th of April or 9th of actually it was April 9th, and they're basically not going to bend on anything. Their perspective is that they don't feel that they should have to do it.
Well, they didn't install the roof correctly.
Yeah. Well, everything should be installed according to specifications.
Well, it's clear that from the get-go, it wasn't right.
Right.
I mean, it didn't. Brent, you're out there quite a bit. It was within a month or so. You could see that, if I'm not mistaken.
That was mentioned on the original punch list too, from the very back in October of 2019.
Yeah, they had Todd look at it, I'm sure your bill inspector looked at it.
Well, we were hoping to get this stuff done, I think, back in the spring, and it didn't get done. So we're hoping to get it done in the fall, but it's gotta get done. I guess they don't want to play nice, and we'll see what our options are.
Yeah, that's correct. Darwin, do you have anything in that? Apparently,
Your
we're
Honor,
not
Your
gonna be.
Honor, I don't have anything more on these items, other than I think the major item we need to get a handle on is the roof and what the cost is going to be to replace that, and also the trim. But until we have a clear indication of what these items are going to cost us to have another contractor come in and make the corrections, I can't imagine we want to pay anything on this contract, anything more on this contract at this time.
That sounds good.
And that's in reference to Midwest, right? We have a reasonable
Midwest.
action plan for Mid. So going forward, can we separate the two?
Yes, Midwest, yes, we're talking about
They're
Midwest.
separate crimes.
The MIG contract, I'm hoping that we can have this back, the MIG contract back on the agenda for June 28th. If we get, once we have a clear indication of what is happening with the lane hooks and the ladders. So if we can get a handle on those two items and get some answers back from the architect and the contractor on that, we could have this back on the agenda for your June 28th meeting.
Perfect, thank you.
That is it?
Anything else?
Anything else, guys?
No, sorry,
Appreciate
in the
it.
middle. Thank you for attending.
Thanks for coming down.
Appreciate that. Almost there.
Okay. All right, next action item is new assistant managers.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to turn this item over to Community Services Director Marks for her comments and recommendation.
Hi, so I am making a recommendation to have Sierra Spallone be a assistant manager at the Aquatic Center. She is currently a lifeguard, and she also was a lifeguard last year as well. Just with scheduling and the extra hours that were open during the day, there is a need for extra management.
Cover during vacations and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
So you don't need additional management on site, you just need additional managers to fill time slots.
Correct.
I'll make a motion that we approve Sierra Spallone as a assistant manager at the Blissfield Aquatic Center.
Support.
Moved and supported to approve Sheriff Spallone as assistant manager for the remainder of 2021 season with an increased pay of $11.50 an hour. Are there any other comments or questions? If not, you can call the roll, Lisa.
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb, yes. James,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, motion carried.
Thank you.
The next action item is, we'll skip that. Aaron, did you receive that letter from our attorney? Did he?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, who were you addressing that question to?
To you,
Oh.
you got the letter, the email from our attorney?
I did receive the letter, yes.
Did you look at it? Oh, did that come in today? Yeah, it came in today. Right? Yeah.
Late this afternoon.
Yeah.
Do you? Nah.
Could you read that, Darwin? No one on this up here has.
I might be able to pull it up on my phone. I'll have to do.
But
Just a moment, Your Honor.
he's looking.
Your Honor, the letter reads regarding resignation as village attorney. Dear Bob, I hereby submit my resignation as village attorney effective June 30, 2021. I have been contemplating this for some time, and it is for both personal and professional reasons. With June 30 as my last day, it will allow me to cover already scheduled criminal pretrials and complete other matters. As a contract service provider, I serve at the pleasure of the council. In fact, under the contract, either of us can terminate the arrangement for any reason. No review is necessary, and indeed, the contract does not call for one. However, if village council was contemplating a change, and clearly it was, I would at least hope to be contacted personally to discuss the reasons for the change. It seems abundantly clear that the village council has charted this new course when the council lists one of its objectives is to, quote, review current legal counsel and secure a new firm to represent the interests of the village of Blissfield, unquote. Since my initial appointment, I have used my best efforts to represent the village. However, I recognize when a decision to move in a different direction has been made. Very truly yours, Jeffrey J. Dubai.
So do we have to make a motion to accept that, Darwin, or?
There is no need for the council to move to accept his resignation. It becomes effective upon receipt by the village president. According to his resignation letter, his resignation will take effect on June 30th. I will be reaching out to council to schedule some special meetings so that the council can begin to move forward with a process for identifying your options for legal services. So I will be reaching out to council shortly.
Okay, thank you. Now we're on to officers' reports. Treasurer.
I actually have one question. As you can see in the box that I have presented in my treasurer's report right there, we have active accounts that are delinquent $826,000. And that is very alarming right now, because back in January, we were at 53,000. So about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, I asked council if they wanted to research shut-ups. I kind of like to have an answer tonight if possible, because tomorrow would be the day that I send out the postcards for shut-up notices. So I typically do that on the 15th. I've got one council meeting, I advise the Eagle is advising us not to do shut-ups. However, it was on whether or not council wants to do it. So keep in mind, January is 53,000. June is 126,000. And that is if you state's active accounts.
Why is Eagle recommending us not to shut them, shut off?
So I would need to send that shut up podcast tomorrow, if you guys want, just be sent for shut ups. And then they have 10 days to pay it, so it would be due the 25th.
Darwin, did you catch that on that? The reason Eagle doesn't want us to shut them off?
I think it's simply a matter of state policy that municipalities consider extending the moratorium on shutoffs. However, the moratorium ended, I believe, March 31st. And of course, municipalities who operate their own water and sewer systems have to pay their bills. And I would recommend that we start collection efforts and require shutoffs if people are not paying their bills, because as the council is aware, we have a very tight water and sewer budgets. And I would not recommend that we extend the moratorium any further than the March 31st deadline.
So I would say, go ahead and start doing shut-offs.
Okay, so I'll say that's tomorrow then. I do want to care about people who want to make payment arrangements with us. I will work with them.
Okay.
Just want to let you guys know that. But they have to make that effort with me first.
Is that up?
Is that something we need a motion on?
I don't think so. He just needs to start doing it. Right, Darwin? We don't need a motion. He just needs to start doing it, right?
As far as payment arrangements?
No. As far as having Brandon start the shut-offs.
No motion is necessary,
Okay.
council.
I didn't think so. Great. Clerk?
Any questions about the bills?
Oh, yeah. Forget the bills. Do you have any questions on the bills?
I went through it, everything's straightforward this month.
Oh, A+.
So we'll approve those in a second. Do you have anything else, Lisa?
No, I don't.
Okay, so if you have him out there, you're ready to read.
Hopefully, we can count it. Barb's got it as quick as that.
Just to see who gets there first.
Thought I had it.
The 410,000. Sounds right. I make a motion that we pay the May bills of $410,709.55. $410,709.55.
Support.
Moved and supported to pay May bills for $410,709.55. Since there aren't any questions on them, you can call the roll, Lisa.
James,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb,
yes.
Bob,
Yes. May bills are paid. Police chief?
I talked to Darwin about this last week, and just to give you a little bit of background, when Darwin has talked about the village attorney. As of April 1st, the law was changed with regards to criminal warrants for anyone that's in custody. So as it stands now, if we arrest someone and they're in physical police custody at the jail, we have to have a warrant signed and issued before a judge by 3 p.m. the following day. So we are under a time constraint on in custody arrests. That would only be a concern for the village attorney if it's a village ordinance, like a first offense drug driving, which would be most common. So I just want to give that background when you do talk to Darwin, come June 30th, we'll definitely need to have something in place. And, you know, I've talked to Darwin about what the options are for us. He'll obviously discuss that with you, but just to give you that background, how it impacts the police department.
Sounds good.
I got a quick question for Chief. What's the status of the new patrol vehicle?
The Durango, they started outfitting it about 2 weeks ago. They called me today, and they'll start the transfer of equipment next Tuesday from the 16 Explorer that we're taking out of service. So I expect it'll be ready by the end of the month. They're telling me a couple of weeks, so I'm hoping by the end of the month.
Thank you.
Darren, do you have an administrative report?
Your Honor, due to the fact that I've been out of town for personal reasons, I do not have a report tonight, but you will be receiving one from me within the next couple days.
Okay. So we're going on to unfinished business. But this is not necessarily unfinished, but it's 501 Giles Avenue. Lisa, their grass is tall again. We had it cut 5 weeks ago, and now the property owner.
I think toward the end of the week, Holly was contacting them to have it mowed again.
Okay.
I know that there was contact about it again.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we're on top of that. New business. We have to come up with a contract committee for Danielle. A contract committee to negotiate with her. So I would be on it, and I would like 1 or 2 others, or 2, 3 of us to be on it. Because she's not here.
I nominated her.
Well,
I'd be happy to.
okay, James, myself, and I guess one. But we should do that. Just me and you, and are you guys just willing to, or?
I mean, I'm happy to help out, but if
Come on, wheel it together.
Yeah, we'll get there though.
Get that contract sold.
All right. Right. So, Darwin, that's gonna be the contract committee to negotiate with Danielle.
Okay, I have you, Your Honor, and James. Was there a third, or was it just the 2 of you?
Jerry
too.
Jerry. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And then, are there any announcements or any other new business? Not.
Just one announcement. Movies on Lane. It's a great event for kids and families, young adults, old adults, everyone. So come out and support it. It's a really great local.
When is it?
It is
Next
this
Thursday?
This Thursday, I believe around sundown.
Little rascals.
Yes, family friendly. There's entertainment, concessions. So support these local projects. There's a lot of hard work and dedication, volunteer hours that go into it.
Okay. Anything else? If not, then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
You call the roll, Lisa?
Jerry?
Yes.
Barb? Yes. Jane?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes, motion meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Darrell.
How much you gonna, yeah, pay half?